crispy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Figures in Action. And I wanted to do something a little different with this video. I actually wanted to start the video with the diorama not being constructed, not being built, just kind of being laid out. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. I usually kind of do this at the end where I just kind of take it apart and pile it on top of each other so you guys have an idea of the height when it's piled on top of each other, as you already have an idea of what the length is. So okay, let's start here. First and foremost, let me just explain a little bit about the background of this dial, and then I'll start putting it together and kind of going through all the cool pieces here. So I was contacted by someone who I believe the story is he's always been a fan of action figures, and he stumbled across this community, eventually stumbled across my channel or my Instagram, one or the other, and was interested in having something created. So I created a dial for him, which was the interior warehouse dial that was red, black, and white, and it was just like a simple little corner dial. So that was the first dial he got. He loved it, but instantly was like, dude, I need something that has way more options. And that's what happens with toy photography. Rather, a lot of times, if you're just a display artist, or you're just you just want to display your action figures, and you get a dial for your detail, for your shelf or what have you, then you have a dial and it's pretty simple and clear cut. When you're an action figure photographer, you're always looking for different angles and different ways to create new shots and so forth and so on. So he had hit me up and he wanted an alleyway. Interestingly enough, I'm working on another alleyway right now, which is more extensive than this one, a lot more details, bigger. He hit me up, sent me a design, and interestingly enough, it was really similar to the design of the other dial that I'm working on. So instead of just talking to him about it and saying, hey, listen, I'm just going to go in a whole other direction, what I did is I kind of went in another direction and kind of still kept it to what he wanted. But I think at the end of the day, his main thing was wanting an alleyway. And when you have an alleyway, you want a deep setting. You want to be able to have some different angles, so forth and so on. So I believe I accomplished that kind of what he wanted. I accomplished it with this dial. So let's start putting it together, and so you guys can have an idea of what we're working with here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take each wall and kind of highlight it real quick. So first and foremost, let's go with this one. We'll go with this one. All right. So the idea here, and this is gonna be the challenge. The lighting in this living room is not great. So maybe we can come over here. So the idea here was that I wanted to do something where the door was deep in the wall, and I actually had that little piece up there for a while. Don't remember where I got it from, and it was a perfect source to use as kind of a lamp, a street lamp type of thing. So I figured this would be the perfect way to do it. And I absolutely, this is taller. I believe this may be 9.5 inches tall, and in the door is a standard. I think my doors these days are 7.25 inches. So yes, somebody had asked me recently if I think in the Dial Social group on Facebook, if I kind of anticipated the fact that that this doorway had some stairs and therefore it had to be longer. You really have no choice. Once you have a standard size door and you put some steps on it, it's gonna increase everything. So I had to obviously get a little bigger there so the figures can walk into that area. Here's the back of it, so you guys get to see kind of the guts of it. I have built, and this is where the light goes in, the light source goes into here. I had built this piece separately and then glued this piece. So I think I'm still gonna put a little section here just to give it some extra protection. So this was the first wall, and this is one of those kind of walls that what I like about it is obviously you get the vellum paper in the back and the mesh the sewing mesh, and it gives it a nice look. So that originally when I had did a little video on this, just kind of showing how I'm filling in the grout these days. And there was no vellum paper, and you can just kind of see right through the back of it. Didn't like the look. Definitely looks better with vellum paper. Excuse me. Alright, so this is actually not set correctly. Alright, so we have this guy. So this guy magnetizes right in this corner. These two walls, so I have done this before. These are just interchangeable walls. This fence piece up here can be removed, and it can be pegged into those there. And so what I tried to do is create the same wall as best as I could. Try to give it similar graffiti. Obviously this part being broken, you're not going to see this, but try to kind of give it some similar graffiti so you can kind of see that it's the same wall. And then for this wall, whenever he uses this wall, what I did is I created this thing here. So what this is, and I'll go over it real quick. What I did here is, all right. So when I cut the wall out, I took pieces and I just, you know, kind of gave him the shape of cinder blocks and just kind of gave him those holes, I guess. And if you look at it's not the easiest thing in the world to break clean through and make perfect squares on these. So the other end of this, which is glued down, didn't look so good. It didn't look as good as this. So anyway, what I did is I took a parchment paper, took a bunch of tacky glue, and just kind of laid it out. Then once that was done, I set these guys in first. Then this is just some insulation foam board, just scraps. So I started laying in the scraps little by little, and then I took that textured sand that I've showed you guys before that I bought at AC Moore. It's, you know, just basically it's you know, I'm calling it a textured sand, and it may not even be that, but I think I have it right here, and I'm going to show you guys. What it is this thing here. So it's textured sand. I was correct. And it's just something you can buy. And what it is basically just a bunch of little little pebbles, little balls. They'll roll all over the place if you're not careful. So filled the rest of the spaces that weren't taken by the pieces of insulation foam. And so what I did is I left it to dry overnight on parchment paper. And then when I had left it, actually I work on my desk. When I got back to work, took the started to take the parchment paper off and saw that there was still a lot of glue down here. So I just started to kind of just clean to me it was extra glue. It had already kind of formed the way I wanted it to. So I just took, you know, kind of wiped it down, put out some more parchment paper, let that dry a little bit, flipped it over, dried it down. So I kind of went through that process for a little bit. And then at the end, once it dried out, I painted it all in black. So I gave it a black wash. Then I came back with a gray, 2 shades of gray, and gave it a dry brush. And this is now the kind of the debris of the breakthrough of the wall. So he'll have 2 options. He can just have this option where he'll have the debris and the wall broken through, and he can have characters breaking through, so forth and so on. Or you can have that option, which is just a solid wall. So let's continue building it. So that's how I built this piece, and just wanted to let you guys know it's pretty cool. It's pliable. I don't know how durable it's going to be in the long run. This is one of the first times I've done something this big, so I will definitely be checking in with this client every once in a while just to see how this is doing. Okay, so let's continue building this thing here. And the back wall, I have it magnetized there and there for both pieces. And what it does is that it just kind of falls into place there. Then I take this wall. So this wall, he wanted his crew and himself. He said no one was going to know what this is about, but now if they watch my video, they do know. But this is him and 3 of his buddies, and there's a history behind this particular these particular letters, this word. So he wanted me to put it up, so I absolutely put it up, but it's his own thing, and just wanted to put it up, but do the graffiti in a way where it wasn't going to take away from everything else. So left it hollow so you can still see the gray in the background, gave it that white, so that looks pretty good. Just a regular roll up, roll down door with the part where the roll up section would fall into. Got some a sticker there, a couple tags, 2 of my favorite graffiti writers in the whole world, friends and crew members, Pro Black and Soam. Let me see, this was an Obey sticker I got, and what I wanted to do here, you can kind of see it at the angle, you can see kind of the glue. What I wanted to do is make it look like I wheat pasted it. I kind of failed a little bit. I mean, you can see it at an angle, but I think next time I'm going to try it. I'm going to experiment on it before I try this again. But I think either white or some powder, or some baby powder, or some flour may give it that consistency where you kind of, when you see wheat paste, you do see a little bit of white, not much. So but it looks pretty good. Still looks pretty good. He wanted some graffiti, so I made sure that that was there. This is magnetized here. That will match into the spot right here. So ultimately here what you have is this was the dial. This was originally when we had spoken. The dimensions that he wanted created this. Unfortunately, he wanted it to extend a little bit here, but then it would have been a bigger cost, a bigger piece, a little more expensive to ship because it would have been longer, so forth and so on. So what I did instead is I said, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create 2 extra pieces, and those 2 pieces can kind of fill in and make it the alleyway that he had in mind. So this wall here was the first piece that I created. Real basic piece, a window. This is just balsa wood. And then what I did is I airbrushed it in the back. And then I painted it because the airbrush didn't cover completely, just so I can kind of blacken it out. But I kept it kind of the shiny side up so you can see it's a window. It's just some signage. This is actually glow sticks. So you know those glow sticks that you snap in half and or you snap them and they're all colorful? And these are some of the extenders. So this is a kit that actually my girlfriend Joanne had bought and told me I can use. And what I did is I airbrushed these, but I'm sure if he whacked this one pretty hard, any of these 3 I emptied these. So I cut them at the top and emptied out all the stuff that was inside, all the glowing stuff. These are not empty, so if he was to whack this with something, it would glow. It would glow. It'd probably be a real funny, funky look. Anyway, so I did is I said, you know what, let me do something here. Let me extend the floor by a little bit. So I extended the floor by 6 or 7 inches. Put that there, and then had this wall here. Now, what I did is I created this little thing that's permanently on this piece. Now, the wall can rest right on it. I did not magnetize this wall. I did not magnetize this floor. So this is, but it's action figure photography, so it's not something that has to be super magnetized for him to take a shot. As you can see, it's pretty steady. It's not going to just fall if you're taking a shot. And then what I did as well is, let me see if I can bring the light over here so you guys can see it. I don't know if it'll reach or not. Maybe not. And then, you can actually switch this wall to the other side, and I created it in a way that it would match up in the corner so it would make sense. So now if he wanted to do something like that, he could do it. And then what I did is, I'm not going to show it now because it would just be a pain in the butt. But if you take that back wall and you switch it with this one, so you can put that gray back wall, you can actually put it there and extend it even more and make it a much longer alleyway scene. You can do so much with it. You can even do something where you can set the floor here and even do something like this. You know, where again you can just, so that was more of kind of the look he wanted. So you can still do something like that, and that will look good. So yeah, man, the thing about it is that there's just so many options with this dial. You can interchange the walls, and you can make it a really cool scene. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys before I stop recording, and again, my apologies for this video kind of being a little unsteady and all over the place and all that good stuff. Mainly because I wanted to kind of go in a different direction and show you guys how it looked broken down before it was built up. Let me just take these pieces apart. I'm actually about to pack this up and ship it as soon as I am done here. So, let's turn off some lights. Let's turn off this kitchen light. Let's turn off this light. This is a light source here. And basically there's a little space back there, or excuse me, in here. You can just turn on the light, and this is what you get. Let's turn off this light. Oh, turn off this light. And that's what you get. So originally when I had done this door, I was going to diffuse that light a little bit, but when I had first lit it up, the dial wasn't painted, so it was just that green, so it looked really, really bright. It doesn't look as bright with the color set in, so I'm not going to diffuse it. I'm going to leave it that way. And that is pretty much it, guys. I'll put some pictures at the end of this video. And FYI, I think I'm going to start a second YouTube channel where I'm just talking, you know, kind of like a vlog type of thing. I don't know. I recorded episode 1 like 10 minutes, just kind of introducing it, but I'm not sure if I want to go through with it or not. What do you guys think? Give me your opinion. Leave some comments. What's up? Holla at your boy, and I am out of here. Peace.